Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
To the West Texas View. I'm Johnny Lou Avery, and for the last 2 Sundays we've been bringing you programs about the Museum of the Southwest and all of the different services and displays and divisions that they have out there. And today we're going to finalize our series of programs by talking again about the Blakemore Planetarium, which is a part of this complex on 1705 West Missouri. And one of the reasons that I wanted Andrew Kerr, the curator of Blakemore Planetarium, to come back was that I had him as a guest about, I guess it's been 2 or 3 months ago, and I just was inundated with comments and questions for him. So I called him and I said, I want you to come back and talk about the planetarium. So I'm going to be interjecting all during our program about some of the things that have been commented on our questions.
Sounds great.
I know you can handle that. And so Andrew, before we start, for the ones that didn't see the program last time, talk a little bit about your background and how you ended up here. And
well, I've probably been here the shortest of just about everybody that you've talked to the last few weeks. But I've been here for about 1.5 years. Moved here from Ohio, but originally from Illinois, and really enjoying being out here in Texas. We could use a little bit of rain, of course, but that's not so bad, all things considered.
That's true.
And it's just been fantastic to be out here in Texas.
But you worked in a museum. At a planetarium there? Or?
I worked in a planetarium in Ohio. I was actually a professor at a small college called the University of Findlay. I taught physics and astronomy and also ran the planetarium.
And so this was your opportunity to bring both your educational training as well as your museum training.
Yeah, and it's something I haven't looked back from at all.
And this facility, this new, beautiful facility.
Yeah, we're so lucky to have it.
We are, and talk about the history of how did we end up with this?
Well, in the early 70s, the Midland Independent School District, along with the Blakemore family, really wanted to bring a planetarium to West Texas, and so they worked together. And the planetarium was originally a part of the Midland School District, and funded a good deal by the Blakemore family. And so the Midland School District kind of decided that they didn't need to continue with it, but they offered it to the museum, and the museum took over.
In a lot of cases, the school system says, we just can't afford it.
Exactly. I think that was a big part of it.
And so they saw the need for it, and so by working with, I know that's happened in Abilene and Austin and a bunch of other places where they've started out.
Yeah.
And it's so critical, but it's also something that not only the students need, but the teachers need.
Oh yeah, and we continue working with the Midland School District to this day. We almost consider ourselves to still be a part of the Midland ISD. So.
But you also work with school districts in this whole Permian Basin area.
Just like Anna Laura said last week, we've had schools come in from New Mexico, we've had schools come in from Alpine, Colorado City. We just go all the way east, west, north, south, all throughout the Permian Basin, having students come in.
And one of the things that I had a comment from after your last show was a teacher called, and she said, you didn't talk, you, meaning you and me, didn't talk enough about how important that facility is to teachers. And then you mentioned, when I told you that we're having teacher in service to train teachers how to better use this facility, but also use information in their classrooms.
Exactly. We did actually have a one-day in-service last summer for the teachers, where they got to come to the planetarium and learn a little bit more about what we could do for them. But this upcoming summer, probably the first 2 weeks in August, it's not completely finalized, but it should be pretty close. We're going to bring in teachers from around the area to actually learn how to make their own planetarium shows. And then then we're going to have them be able to bring their students in over the school year to see the shows that the teachers created, as well as get some of our some of the content that we can provide as well.
And then also that helps them in the classroom.
Exactly, because when a teacher has something that they can do in the classroom and then take their students out and show it to them in a setting outside of the classroom as well, that really helps out a lot for teachers, because it provides a little bit of a bonus lesson, but it also shows them that out in the real world, not just in the school, we're going to experience some of this stuff.
And the whys. You know, why do I need to know about the stars and the universe, and why do I need to know?
The simplest answer for that is just because it's cool.
Yeah, that is a good answer.
And you know, beyond that, it's always good to know about the universe as a whole, and what's going to happen in the future as well.
Well, I have to tell you another cute comment that I had. I had a student that said, I went to the planetarium my first time kicking and screaming. I did not want to go. I thought this was a stupid waste of my time, and I loved every minute of it.
That's exactly what I like to hear, because I haven't had anyone go away from the planetarium yet who's been disappointed, and so that's really a very, very good feeling to have.
That's right.
And we still have a few kickers and screamers, but they're usually young, and it involves a little bit of fear of the dark, I think. But once the show starts, they usually settle down pretty quick, and they end up liking it too, even the youngest set.
And that brings up another point, is that we're talking about all ages. We're talking about the very young to the very old. Is something that they will all enjoy.
Especially this summer, we've had a lot of grandparents bringing grandkids in for our public shows, and we've really enjoyed that, because it's always good to have grandparents having fun with their grandkids.
Yeah.
And I think the grandparents leave just as impressed as the grandkids do.
And the grandparents learn, and then they can take it home and talk to their...
Oh yes, if you don't walk away having learned something from the planetarium, let me know, and I'll make sure I can find something that you didn't know before.
Yeah, and that's an important part of the museum, is not just the fun, but also the fun of learning and the learning itself.
And the discovery.
And I think that, again, I have to say that this is a cutting edge planetarium.
Oh yes, we're one of only about 10 with this system in the United States and in the world.
And it's just fabulous to walk into that and just have this whole planet opened up to. Yep. We're going to have to take a quick break right now, but we're going to come back and visit with Andrew Moore, and we're going to talk about some of the things that are coming up this summer and then next fall. So join us in just a second.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.